Ngomwa. West Nile TV. Miyuder Ingomwa. West Nile TV. Miyuder Ingomwa.
Sports is one of the interesting activities in the country and of course all over the world. Everyone wants to associate with sports, and it is the reason why we bring you every time in-depth analysis and of course all the sports stories right here on West Nile TV, the Whistle Time. And my name is Owen, but of course joining me as usual is Oscar in the studios. Oscar, most welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure again to be here, and of course one of the things that really motivates me to come every day is because I know sport is what everyone loves.
Weekend is what we are coming to. Of course, weekend starts from now, and today happens to be a very, very big day for the Muslim community, and of course for others who are right there trying so much to see that they really have that belief and they have the faith in that is the Muslim. And of course we started with the big stories before we talked about a couple of things, and before we started the journey of 1,000 miles with the Netball Federation. Right now I want to tell you that the team is still in, of course, South Africa. A lot of things are happening there, but of course we feel we should be giving you what exactly is happening there. Why? Because we want you to also get engaged in loving the netball for the men, or for the male category in there. The Rock is the team that is representing Uganda in this edition in the tournament that is taking place in South Africa. But of course, as usual, I told you, we are lucky as West Nile TV, we are lucky as West Nile to have at least a media officer in the netball team, and that is Oscar, who is here. How is the team doing? The Rock had a lot of things, a lot of games yesterday, today, and of course they will be having also another game. But of course in the yesterday's game, how is the result? Because when we kept watching, it was at least the team was doing very, very okay, and the Rocks are the team we are talking about. All eyes on the Rock in this tournament.
Well, it's going down well in South Africa, and I think it was unfortunate that the first game we lost to the hosts, but the reasons were very clear. Playing when you have the support of the home people is always a very difficult thing sometimes. But again, they lost by, I think, a 5 margin kind of difference. But yesterday they had a game with DCS, where DCS only had 7 scores, but Uganda actually had 72, which was very, very amazing. And of course today again, to present another tough challenge. They also play against South Africa and Kenya today. I think they only have 2 games left, and these games are going to be played today in the round of games left is Kenya and South Africa again.
A very big one, of course. That's one of the biggest, but we could be expecting a lot from the Rock, who are right there. Maybe this could be another big thing that is coming in there. A bad start sometimes makes a good ending, and of course someone would be saying that maybe for you also a bad start, or getting a bad person, a wrong person, at last gives you a right person, a good person. So that's one of the big things. But of course, as media, that's why we keep giving you all these informations every time. And now it takes me to some few discussion for just a short while, and we see what exactly your idea would be like, and what do you think about this? What role has media played in developing sports in the region, in the country, and of course all over the world?
Well, media has played a very big role. In fact, media set the agenda for everything that goes on. Not even only in sports, but everything in terms of information. I think it has to get through the media, and media, just like they say, is the fourth estate, is the fourth arm of government. That's where every information most people get, in fact, access to information is got through media, be it social media, be it broadcast, be it print. I mean, everything that somebody needs to know gets through media, which I would think when you zero it down to sports, I think media has played a tremendous role in development of sports, be it at local level, be it at international level. I think media has played a very, very good role. You look at teams that have active participation in media, they have a lot of attention, and they actually their publicity stand out. If you look at the region, when Onduparaka broke onto the scene, I mean, media played a very big role. Without the media, Onduparaka would not have reached where they are. Played a very, very big role, though I know at one point they dropped down a bit, and of course the attention started not like the way it was. And again, you look at teams, how Arua Hill came on board. Just look at the hype. It was all because of media helping that. But though some people don't appreciate, but you try and be off the media for just 1 month, and you see how you will drop. So, unfortunately, you find some of the people in these respective clubs, they don't so much attach the value to the media. They only want to come to you when they need you, and they want to set the agenda for you. And yet, media, you're supposed to act professionally and set the agenda yourself, not somebody setting for you the agenda. So, to me, to a greater extent, it is all up to media. That's why we have the game of sports so much developing.
Zeroing it back to the homeland, I'm talking about West Nile. Has the West Nile media done a lot in the development of sports, different sports activities right there, apart from the football?
You've stated it correctly. I think this is where we don't score enough. When it gets to, when you generalize sports, I think the media in West Nile has not done enough, especially to promote across all levels the different disciplines of sports. But when you look at football, yes, it has done a lot. I should say even close to 90%. That's what media has actually done. Part of the things we talked about it yesterday. It is not by mistake that maybe football is gathering a lot of attention. Sometimes it gets to the knowledge of other sports disciplines to a journalist. Most sports journalists are very comfortable only discussing football, maybe basically because they have limited themselves to be in football, or maybe because of the ease of access to information. But they always say what makes you a genius is when you're doing something different from what others are doing. So if you are a journalist and you call yourself a sports journalist, sports only does not zero down to football. Sometimes some people can argue that, you know what, I am specializing in football, but I think the ground is yet not leveled for us to start thinking of specialization. Mine is only football, mine is only cricket, mine is only volley. I think it's very, very okay to challenge yourself across all platforms, to be diverse, to be dynamic. That is what we're yet lacking. But when it gets to the score, I think football has taken 90% of all the coverages. And then all other things that come in, unfortunately, also where we don't score much in that football beat. Most journalists are looking at event-based stories. Is Onduparaka playing a game today against Sowana? That's where the attention is going to be. Is Arua Hill going to play against Gaddafi? That's where the attention is going to be. And it's like more of event-based, but looking at generating your own content, looking at something that someone is not looking at. I think that's where we don't much score. Is Tabo Vitali is going to make a move back to Onduparaka? That is where the attention is going to be, which to me makes us score a little less, because it's an aspect of lazy journalism, only just trying to look at something from where it's happening.
Oscar says we are lazy in journalism. Of course, we really need to do more. In case you're a journalist watching and finding out more, you need to go for the depth research and find out, make your own stories greater.
In West Nile, we have created. I don't want to be misquoted, but there is another type of journalism that has been created. It is called lazy journalism. It has been created,
which
is being practiced.
Yesterday we said which cannot be denied.
It is being practiced. Lazy journalism has become. I think one of these will become one of the course units.
Let's get to that. But of course, I want to say the reason why West Nile TV is here is because we want to cut across. And this is the whistle time. We'll be giving you all the sports related activities to see that we get back to all the sports activities, and we'll always be following you down there. So for those who are carrying up different sports, trust me, West Nile TV is here, and the whistle time is here to support you wherever you'll be, so long as you are doing it at the right way. But that takes us back to one of the big stories now. Before we talk about that, female athletes have been in the region and they are locked in, that is the region. They are doing different activities, including even playing football in here. You've seen very little teams in this, let's say Arua, in did say another new one created in Wari, and that's where he is the chairman of the Aluru United, is the man in charge who has created in there. He has told me a lot. But of course now, female athletes in, that is the sports, this time around are compared to the 20th century, you could be talking about, but they are really trying so much in there. The question would be like, this is one of the activities, or this is one of the sports activities that has come in there. Why is women sports less popular? Let's say football, you've seen them there. You've seen, we had people in tennis here in West Nile, but why is it less popular in West Nile region?
Well, I think taking over from the journalism bit, even sports ladies who are measuring in sports, can you think of any in West Nile?
Not really. Not really.
Apart from the one who was trying her best, Adong Sharon. Who else? So it's a kind of an aspect. I don't know. It's still a virgin area that's upcoming journalists would actually need to interest themselves, especially the ladies. To sit here, I mean, I would be very happy to sit here with the lady trying to discuss sports, not just trying to discuss netball and to discuss sports. And it all comes to challenging yourself. You can become one of the most outstanding because you've taken a challenge. Most ladies only want to be news anchors. I mean, not even in Lobarati, but they want to be in English. I think their swag is too high up. But they're all the same. Getting to the basics of why female sports is not so popular. Well, I think the only one that stands out is netball. And it's the most popular. But again, it starts and stops majorly when the school calendars. We start with primary. After primary, wait for post-primary. After post-primary, it is dead. You wait for the next year. And I've tried to see very few ladies trying to challenge themselves again, also play volleyball, but they don't last long. And yet that's where there's an opportunity. So the underlying factor for me that it gets to the motivation and the publicity and how you sell this game to the females, because equally most of the ladies tend to think that it is just something meant for boys. Even to have a volleyball team that's comprising of ladies, you have even but I'm also glad softball, they're trying a bit in softball. So I think it gets to the publicity bit and the opportunities that lie in this. You know, everyone tries to project what are the opportunities. Then, is there any available platform where I can showcase my talent? We hardly see this. Even people who organize tournaments only for the boys or only for male, to be exact. And on the other side, you find there are activities that are focusing on the females are very few. I remember at one point where I was, before, we tried to come up with an initiative of only organizing women. In fact, we organized a friendly where we looked at our ladies team to verse with the ladies that were selected from the market vendors. It was a tremendous one, and I got to realize that they equally have talent, but the only challenge was they didn't have the consistency was not there. You know, these are people, day by day they think of how much am I going to make, because that's how I survive. But they actually made it a point that they brought in all the ladies from, I don't know where they got them from, but they were very talented. I was wondering, I was like, Arua has all these talents. What if somebody comes and puts these talents together? These are nurtured, and at the end of the day, there's something that can be gotten out of them. So I think again it comes back to who is this person who is willing to invest. We know that Arua Hill is a soccer club, is a sports club, not a soccer club. So that means that they should be actually giving platforms, getting this on board. Paida Black Angels used to, I think, have the ladies team, but I don't know what has happened of late, whether they are yet training. This lady of Esther Generation, I think she also used to have some ladies within Arua here. I don't know what has happened, but there used to be leagues and tournaments organized for focusing on the ladies. I think those are some of the initiatives that needs to come so that we can unearth the talents that we have. We do have them, but again, there's no so much focus put on them.
Now, of course, it's one of the biggest thing in there. Someone would be asking why probably the female journalists have failed to make a mark in there or to hit a mark. Now, the coaches who have come in there, ladies who are being coaches, and here and there, they're trying so much. We have even seen ladies who are referees who are doing so much. Very many always say referees and, of course, coaches. Like when you're a female, you shouldn't get involved in the men officiation. You shouldn't get involved in that is coaching the male team. Do you agree with that? Should they only be restricted to the female or crossover or cut across all these sports activities? Because we have seen very many doing very well in that is the other field in there, which of course cuts across.
Well, I completely disagree. For a referee, I think you're going to be in charge of a football game. It doesn't matter whether it's for the men or it's for the women. I think it doesn't really matter to me. But what I know is that the game of football does not discriminate. In fact, sports doesn't discriminate at all. We have seen umpires who are men, but they are officiating netball games that are for ladies. I think that's a good gesture for me. And of course, I would also be happy to see that we have a netball team comprising of boys, and then females are the ones officiating. I really want to see that. But again, you find that there are limited numbers of, let's say, umpires. Even when you get to volleyball, the number is always limited, and mostly they try to take it to the men. But again, it comes back to the challenges. How many of these ladies love this game and they really want to go further? You can succeed in the game of sport either directly as a player participating, or you can succeed as a coach, you can succeed as an umpire, you can succeed as a commissioner. It's just all about the media trying to inform the various people on where exactly they can position themselves. I think that publicity bit is what we have been talking about. Most focus has been shifted to the event-based. There's a tournament happening here, that's what people are talking about. But who are these people who can benefit from this tournament? So that is coming. Like games are going to be coming in the UPL. Focus is only on clubs are signing players, clubs, coaches are coming to this club. But the other aspect of how can the community position themselves, the businessmen, to benefit? An away team is going to be coming. Do you know how many people, if maybe the lockdown is going to be eased, will be flooding Arua Hill? What are the business opportunities that will lie there? These are some of the things that at one point media is not actually bringing out. It takes you to look at the other side of the coin for you to bring out this. On the other side, very many people will be going. That is business for the border. How many people will be going? The hotel owners, you know that these away teams are going to be coming. So where exactly are they going to be eating from? And many more people are going to be traveling from away. The people who are doing transportation, people who come from all the way from maybe all the way from that side of Moyo, Germany, to come and watch the games. Now that is where you allow the people in the transport sector will have to benefit. So there are always very, very good things, but it depends on how the publicity and what angles are being taken to actually cover. We can be covering the same Arua Hill game, but from which angle are you covering it?
Exactly, that's what we're talking about, media still. It takes us to the first topic that we discussed about, and a couple of things that keep coming every day. Now, of course, that is where we would want to say, of course, we take a break from, but a lot still coming in this very edition. We're not going to rule out the transfer speculations and, of course, transfers, done deals in different clubs in the country. Of course, at the same time, we will want to come back and discuss what exactly makes a club very special. If you look at that, clubs, different clubs in the region, different clubs in the world, and different clubs in this country, Uganda. We'll be coming back to discuss that before we cross over to international stories. But of course, I want to say we are West Nile TV, and we are Whistle Timers on West Nile channel 477. And don't miss that, always from your screen. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Days to the closer of the transfer in Uganda, and I want to welcome back for the Whistle Time on West Nile TV channel 477, and of course streaming live on the YouTube channel West Nile TV. But of course, I still remain Owen, and Oscar is still in the studios to see that we give you the best. But of course, a lot of things coming in there. Teams are doing business as usual. Very many have gotten players. Others have not unveiled players after getting them. But of course, very also many have failed to reach the deadline day. Remember, clubs have been charged recently for not reaching the timeline of registration, including on Dubaraka, Arua Hill Sports Club, and many more in there who have been charged because they did not hit the timeline of registration at the federation. Now, it is one big thing that is happening, but let's start the focus to the transfers. As of course, yesterday you did see Onduparaka Football Club unveiling two players. One, Okello Isaac, the former Arua Hill Sports Club player, who of course did not do much last season. And then of course Onduparaka also unveiled the former Arua Hill Sports Club player, who also played some time back for Maroons Football Club. But of course he also played before crossing to all these places. He was a player of Onduparaka Football Club before being sent to Doves All-Stars on loan. He is back again into the books of Onduparaka Football Club. Agau Rashid is the player I'm talking about in the team, and every in the corridors, people already talking about his coming, and feel and think that he will be of importance to the Onduparaka team this season. Oscar, the Brazilian, takes us through there. And do you agree with what Agau is going to be doing for the Onduparaka team? Because he's one player someone would love to see, but of course, looking at all the runs from Onduparaka to the other clubs now, back to Onduparaka, will he change something in the current Onduparaka Football Club under probably the rumored David Lutalo?
Well, when you're discussing issues about former players of Onduparaka getting back, of course, a person like Rashid Agau, to me, I've always said this, that one of the players who has failed to live up to the expectations and his performance in relation to his talent is Rashid Agao. I know we have his fans outside there, but this is the truth, and the truth sometimes hurts, but it doesn't stop somebody from still saying it. That at the level where Agao started, this is not where Agao is supposed to be. Agao is probably supposed to be playing in leagues in Scotland, leagues in let's basically say in Europe, because of his talent. But I think time and again, you don't know what happens in the lives of players. It gets to your attitude, it gets to your level of ambition, it gets to your willingness to learn, it gets to you challenging yourself to be somewhere. I think these are some of the things that really doesn't make Agao stand out for me. Agao is not a first timer at Onduparaka Football Club. I want to start from that's uncertainty. Will it be George Lutalo on the touchline, or will it be Bosco Dudu on the touchline? Because when you look at some of the players and you look at those players being summoned, where I don't think Lutalo would have attracted Agao to go back. It is Dudu who is attracting Agao to go back, just like Muhammad Shaban. And these were the players, especially Agao. Dudu worked with at Arua Central, one of the most talented. I played with him at St. Joseph's College of Badge between 2007 and 2008. Before he went to Old Kampala, and then later on St. Mary's Chitende. But you would know that this is a player whose class is so different. You don't even think he can match anybody according to the way he plays. But all the same, he has not actually been the best. Agao at Onduparaka, when even they were in the regional league, Agao was one of the players you really focus on. You expect him to do much more even more than the Gaddafi Gadinos in the team. But still you find he's a player who wants so much his focus. You even fail to understand whether this is an ambitious player. And the other player I can rate at his same level has been the rubber boy. I think Bida Ezra, one of the players who again so disappointing, because he has the talent, but you get to find out that is this player ambitious? What is this player? The other player is Hassan
Mahmoud?
Not Hassan Mahmoud. There is another Hassan in Nebi. He played for Paida Black Angels, played for Sevilla B in Spain, played for Paida Black Angels, came to Nebi Central. The last time I checked, he's in the books of Arua City Football Club. Hassan Fatib, one of the most talented players, complete players, has everything, but player who fails to succeed. Went for trials at KCC. I thought that's where I was supposed to play, but I think the way he plays, the way he envisions to play, does not suit what every coach here wants. He's not a very hard-working player, but a player who is good with the ball only. So these are the type of players really I feel West Nile, they have not achieved their potential. So Agao coming back to Onduparaka, I don't want to be so harsh, but I'm not going to be seeing so much, because when Onduparaka qualified to the Uganda Premier League, the Agaos were part of that team. So, and it was not his first time going to play at that level, because he had played with Arua Central. Then when he came in, I think things were not working out for him. Agao on the flanks, especially now when Charles Livingston Babazi came on, because of his lazy attitude, because of not being a workaholic. You know, Charles Livingston Babazi's team is all about you being somebody who follows tactics and a person who is hardworking. You're not going to be leaving a fullback to work alone. Your role is to make sure that you run along the lines, and to make sure that you drop deep, you pick the ball. And he's a player who loves to cut in. And his versatility, yes, is good. He can play as a false nine. That is a plus. But you will not see so much from him. That's why he was loaned to Doves All Stars by then, before branded Arua Hill. From there, went back to Onduparaka, couldn't make a mark. Went to Maroons. From Maroons, he even did not make more than 10 appearances for Maroons the whole season. A team in Tanzania wanted to buy him. Yes, but didn't work out. The deal fell through. Agao, not until he actually went Awol from the team, only to find Agao in Abattoir, not Arua. Find Agao in Abattoir. Now that is where the challenge is for me with Agao. Agao is stuck in the lines in between him being a businessman and him being a professional footballer. That is where Agao is not concentrating.
Just to get on that, some reports already had it that he said after Rua Hill, he would not love to go to Kampala or any other club out of West Nile or Rua because of his engagement in his business. He wants to be concentrating on the business. And now, how will he balance this business and the football bit of it?
That's what the challenge is. You mean you can't be a businessman and you also want to earn from football on the other side.
And you do your business yourself because you don't have people.
And he's doing it himself. You know
Yes.
the business. I've been there. I've had experience at Abattoir that if you want to succeed, you do it yourself. Especially those who deal in livestock. And that's where Agao. That's the business Agao is doing. And you know that business is demanding. You need to go and look for goats where in the villages in Yumbe where you need to go. You need to travel yourself. Then you also need to go and look for cattle. You buy it from there. You bring yourself. Where do you get the time for training? Where do you get the time for concentrating on the career you want? So honestly, I think maybe the other business bit is shifting him. He knows there's going to be a sign-on fee. The sign-on fee he will get and inject in his business.
Yeah.
And which business is not bad, but I think that is where Agao is not scoring well when it gets to football. Agao is stuck in between the lines, whether he should focus on his business or he should be focusing on the pitch to succeed as a player.
The football
That
business.
has been where the problem has been for Agao.
Exactly. Now, that is the little we can give you about Agao this season, of course, in Onduparaka. But of course, we're going to be seeing a lot coming in from the Onduparaka camp. Of course, expecting to unveil more today and tomorrow, maybe, because we did tell you already some headlines of some of the players who are said to be with Onduparaka Football Club, but of course, not yet unveiled. Very many are expecting that big name of Mohamed Shaban, whether he will be unveiled, and of course, just to see if he will not be unveiled up to the last day, and someone will be like, were they lying to us? But of course, one of the bigger things. Now, let's leave that there. I'll cross over to the neighboring club. I'm talking about Calvary Football Club. That also reports reaching whistle time indicates that the former, of course, Onduparaka and Bull Football Club player, I'm talking about Tabu Vitalis, has also penned a 2 years contract with the Calvary Football Club in there, not forgetting Julius Malingumu, who has also extended his contract on a 1 year deal with the Calvary Football Club. It looks like Calvary Football Club is trying to restructure, but how good is the addition of Tabu Vitalis, who has known the Uganda Premier League, he has known the big league, to Calvary Football Club, who are in the big league this season? Are we seeing them into Uganda Premier League next season? Remember, big league is going to be played in a single phase, not of course to say in groups or maybe Elgon or Rizori.
When you look at those additions, I think Calvary is trying to rebuild, and I think it's really a good gesture for me, because when I look at the type of players that they have brought. Dan Kidega, yes, he's a good player. He featured in the Uganda Premier League and the big league for Paida Black Angels. You have Choka Julius played for a very long time. He played in Central, not maybe Central before, but I think in the Coca-Cola, he has had a large share of his experience being got from there. Plays for St. Julian and a couple of other teams from Central. And coming to Nebi Central, yes, he was the team captain. He's one of those best, in fact, tactically gifted, and one of the most skillful players I've ever come across of his generation. Only that he has failed to achieve his potential. I'm hoping that Calvary is going to give him a very, very good ground to showcase his talent, having signed from Paida. Odagi Khalid, that he also brought from Paida, a good central defender. He has featured prominently for the drum team. He has been one of those played for Paida in the Uganda Premier League, especially remember when Adebo was the captain at one point. So when Jerry is not there, just that was when Cromwell. If Cromwell is not there, it is Jerry. If Jerry is not there, it's Odagi Kali, which was good for me. He has had that experience, and of course now bringing in the likes of Tabo Vitalis, Malingumu Julius. My challenge with Tabu is, again, is one of those players. The Arua Kids League produced very good players that are now running the Uganda Premier League now. The likes of Tabu Vitalis. There used to be another one, Fendi Eric, used to play from Barabo. Is one of the most disappointing again for me. I played with him in Obachi, but I think there are some few boys who really stand out, and Agao is one of them. Tabu Vitalis actually is one of them. His other challenge is he comes with his personality. He's this kind of a player who wants to be so much self-centered, so much focused on. He's not so much of a team player. That's one thing I know with Agao. And you see, times have also gone. Is Calvary going to be building that team around Agao? So as a coach, you're supposed to be looking at which player. Yes, Agao can really, Tabu Vitalis can come in, but who is this player I'm going to build this team on? I don't think should be Tabu Vitalis, because now from the Unduparaka days to Paida, from Paida going across, then coming back, Bull coming back. I mean, how much of impact has he actually had in this? I don't see much. So the Tabus are now in the evenings of their career. They are not actually challenging themselves like the way Samson Sizo could challenge himself. Playing football up to that age wasn't easy. Most of his age mates had left football 5 years ago because they couldn't carry it anymore. But at least for the Tabus, they're still going on. But can this challenge now be a revival of his career for him? So the other question would be, is Tabu looking at the opportunity to revive his career, or is looking at where he can get a retirement package for him? That is key for me.
How hard is it to retire? I know we have seen clubs finishing up retirement. I mean, players having hard times in retiring from active sports, and football is one of the biggest in there. We'll be discussing about that. But what makes a club very special in the world? Let's say the world, but mostly I want us to focus on our country, Uganda. Though other leagues will be best on the national or the international, some of those European clubs in there. What makes a club special for someone to identify with?
Well, it comes to organization, how you organize the club. And organizing the club is not only on the pitch. The majority of the work is done from the structures you put in a club. That's what makes a club stand out. You can have a club can be owned by an individual, but the structures again put in place should make it very easy for the club to run, even when the presence of the owner is not there. Like Abramovich is the owner of Chelsea, but Abramovich is not the chairman of Chelsea.
True.
The chairman of Chelsea is a lawyer who is a U.S. national. That's the chairman of Chelsea. So Abramovich knows very well that I might be the owner, but it's not me to run the club, to run the affairs of the club. So you can have a club owner, or you can, for other teams, you can have a chairman or a president, and the president will also chair in fact, he will head the board. And the board, now the composition of the board is what makes it interesting. Whom do you appoint on the board? The board needs to have people with specific interest. For instance, if I were to appoint a board of any club, let's say Paida, I'll look at people who are of interest to me, where I can actually get the expertise to help. I'll look at someone like Right Honorable Prime Minister Vincent Ochaya, because I know what I want from him. I know when I need any sponsorship deal or anything to market,
It's easy to lobby.
He's the lead. He works with one of the top media houses in this country. So it will be very easy for me, very strategic for me to get him on the board. Because when I know to shift business to get sponsorship, I will get, if he can get 40 million every year for the Obimo Cup, the Alud Cup, 40 million, just like that. So how can an established club not benefit from that? Because it will be on to him to speak to. After all, he's the Prime Minister. That is one. I will get people like Brigadier General Dikodum. Why? Because he loves football. He's passionate about it. And Vincent Ochaya was a former goalkeeper of Paida Black Angels. So tell me what he cannot do for his former club. So I'll get Brigadier General Dikodum, on board. One, he loves football. On the other side, he's connected. He's connected, and that is where I will score. Then I will now get some businessmen within Paida. Or you don't need to pick all of them.
Prominent businessmen.
Prominent business who can mobilize resources within Paida. Then you get some 2 or 3 politicians. And I can get to Grace Freedom Crushing, strategically positioned in State House. That is I can be like the Gaddafi of and on the other side, I can get to maybe the former minister for energy, Dujanga. You don't need those people to be there, but at least you need that. You don't need them to run the affairs of the club, but you need that composition, because at the end of the day, you'll have your strategies. We want to achieve this in our revenues. We want to achieve this in terms of marketing. We want to achieve this in terms of our branding. So that is with the board. Then who is going to be who's going to be the CEO? That's the person that I need. Then after the CEO, now I need who is going to be the technical director. That is for organized clubs. Technical director, you need to have somebody with that experience, who maybe you have had a former coach, maybe with the background in that position. And then you need someone in charge of marketing, the marketing officer. And then you need another one in charge of publicity. You need a PRO. And then you need a human resource, because there are several other people that you need apart from the technical one. You need a human resource in that team. And then you need the accounts person in that team, because you're going to be having finance, but who should be there to handle it? So that is the composition. That's where it stops. And then from there, gets to the basics. Who is going to be the head coach? You can appoint one person. That person should be able to identify who is going to work with. Now, will your strategy be that we need to develop the youth system, then we be promoting them, or where exactly are we going to start from? That is how a club is supposed to brand itself, getting organized from top to bottom. Then the branding becomes a little easier once all these things are set up.
A very big one. Branding is the key message you could be getting there for those who are trying to set up a club, and for those existing clubs that are not doing very well. Now we're taking a break, and we come back and discuss a little in there. As of course, FIFA in their survey have claimed up a very, very big one, that the majority of the fans have accepted or have liked the idea of 2 years World Cup that will be coming right there. We're coming back to discuss a few of that, and of course and also talk about some of the games that were played in the UEFA Europa League last night. Stay hooked to your TV. Don't move away from there.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Mikel Arteta is one of the coaches in the English Premier League who, of course, very many keep doubting every time, and he has come up with a very big say that the gate is always open in case any of the veteran of the former players wants to come. And this time around, one of the players he's talking about is Jack Wilshere. Yesterday, he confirmed that he is already having a good conversation with Jack Wilshere, who probably in the summer maybe, or in the January, could be crossing over to Arsenal Football Club. And this is where we want to start our discussion internationally. Welcome back from that break, and we take this back to Oscar the Brazilian. Jack Wilshere in Arsenal was a star by then, I could say. But of course, when he left Arsenal, everything went mute about him. He is one player Mikel Arteta is looking forward to reunite with at Arsenal. Will he bring some impact into the Arsenal team that is at number 16?
Well, Jack Wilshere, when he left, Yeah, he was going to have a stellar career, but Jack Wilshere blew that away. There are time and again issues of indiscipline, and of course being seen smoking in public, kind of things. The same issues with Jermaine Pennant. I think those are some of the things that really did. He was, I think, to me, instead of learning from the mistakes of the likes of Joy Barton and others. You remember Adam Johnson?
Yes.
The one who is still in prison, I think. From Manchester City, went to Sunderland, then from there, and a couple of others that to me never performed so well. But Jack Wilshere to come to Arsenal, I remember his days at Bournemouth. I knew his football career was already dying. At the age of 29, a very promising talent. By then, before he even reached that age, he was a good player. But I think key reason for me why Arteta is looking at bringing him back. If you look at Jack Wilshere, one, they're going to get him for free. Maybe he will benefit from the sign-on fee. If you are his agent. Then two, Mikel Arteta is optimistic that in that midfield he needs reinforcement. As a number 10, since Martin Odegaard started playing, how many chances has he created? So now when he gets injured, who is that player who can step in, especially to try and carry on with the creativity of the team? You look at Emily Smith-Rowe, but is he that consistent kind of player? Is he that player you're going to play behind the main striker, the likes of Balogun? Yes, I know they can be shifted to play there a little, but I think he's looking at that experience. He has started to realize now that he needs an experienced player in that team, and Jack Wilshere has been part of that team. One of the reasons Jack Wilshere failed to have an impact is because the style of play under Arsene Wenger was so different from how he experienced life at Bournemouth. You need to be a very hard-working player. In fact, I know he also played at Bolton on loan, but still, I think the atmosphere at Arsenal, that team play, being flanked by likes of Cesc Fabregas, very talented players like Thomas Rosicky, that is not so much now. So Mikel Arteta is looking at that type of a player who can come in and boost up the midfield. So the question would be, can Jack Wilshere be the player who can actually fill the void at Arsenal? I don't believe that Arsenal has a number 10 or a creative player, because those others seem to be amateurs for me. But it will be good to have that experience with the fact that they are going to bring him for free. Otherwise, you would not be looking at players like Jack Wilshere now. Maybe you look at players like James Maddison. Maybe you should be going for established players now. But all the same, they have spent a lot. They need to balance the books. Getting a player on loan is not going to be so bad.
Getting a player
for free.
For free is what Oscar talks about. But Jack Wilshere right now is a player who is a free agent from the West Ham team this time round. He's even not in the books. Let's take our focus away from there and look at the FIFA, of course, the Benin World Cup that is trying to come in there. Arsene Wenger came with this, and some time back, just like he said, of course, clubs really and the world at large. Funds, according to the survey FIFA has come up with yesterday, the FIFA president did claim out and say that funds all over the world, according to the survey, are supportive towards the 2 years World Cup that is to be played after 2 years in there. Do you see this working out? Because we did see Alexandria Seferin saying that no, the European clubs will boycott that, and this is one thing that could be coming in there. So can this go? Because FIFA has already confirmed, but some of the UEFA is saying no. Our European clubs and the clubs will really boycott this in case of anything that comes out, because it is going to be affecting them so much. So you see, it is still going through, like how the European Super Cup sometimes is understated.
Honestly, to me, it will go through, because this is something that has been working. The AFCON has been played after every 2 years. It is working out. So what will stop it from working? And they will have to shift it to odd years. That's what the plan would be about. And when you look at Alexander Seferin, is so much negative because he knows of how much of impact that would be on the UEFA Champions League, because that's what he wants. The territory wants to protect. He's the president of UEFA. So you know that is actually what it's going to affect. When you look at the benefits of this, one, sponsorships and revenue is going to come in a lot after every 2 years. That will actually in turn be reinvested in youth development. Two, is going to give platform even for the young players to feature. Now you see the likes of Marcus Rashford, the likes of the Sakas playing like you see they have played Euro. So they need to wait for another 4 years again to actually play Euro. By then, other young players would have really come. So these players, again, you find there's not much consistency in playing bigger tournaments. But again, if that is to be passed, at least it will give opportunity. After every, you cannot actually establish yourself when you don't play at top levels. And that playing at top levels should come with the frequency of how these games are going to come. So I look upon that. But the South Americans, just like Seferin said, they might boycott. I don't think that is true. Because Alejandro Dominguez, the other side, said they had actually submitted a plan like that to FIFA some time back. So that means across all over, Arsene Wenger in his words also said there is a positive response. So if the fans again are coming up and saying they are responding very, very well. Recently also Pep Guardiola said he's in support of that. So that means it's something that is going to work out. So we are going to wait till December. That's when the assembly of FIFA is going to sit. But I'm optimistic that this is something that can be for the good of football.
Now, of course, one of the biggest things that will be good for the football. Now, as I talk, a couple of games were played in the night yesterday, and Rennes played against Tottenham Hotspur in a game that was the UEFA Europa League conference. That, of course, was big, and they had to held, of course, Tottenham Hotspur in a 2-2 draw right there. Before I go to the Europa League games in there, Nuno Espirito Santo, 2 games, people already doubting him for Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, even me, when he came on board, yes, I started doubting because I looked at some of the average coaches to me that really tried their best. There was Martin Jol, the former Dutch international. Yes, tried to have a couple of results, but didn't work out. Remember, he had very good signings, the likes of Didier Zokora, brought the likes of Hosaf Mido, very good players that actually came in. Then later on, I think Spurs started having players who would come in, but even had the likes of Clint Dempsey signed from Fulham coming on board. But to me, I still want to give him that benefit. But again, you see Tottenham Hotspur is not a small club now because of their level of ambition. A team that has previously played in the finals of the UEFA Champions League, a team that has been almost challenging for Barclays Premier League, a team good enough to go to the finals of the League Cup, to win. So I think the pressure is on him. But again, since he took over, which are these signings that he made that would really make him, that team purely for now, I think with few additions, but it's the foundational team that was set up by Mauricio Pochettino. You give credit to him. So how he used the players to get the results, I think that made him a genius. But to me, I think we should first not be too harsh on him, give him some time. But I don't think he will go with that type of result to take to Europe. You come back in the Premier League, you lost over the weekend to Crystal Palace. And the next game that will be coming, I don't think it's going to be something so easy for him. But wait, we still give him some time. Tactically, he's a good strategist. I would not say he's an extraordinary tactician, but I want to say he's a good strategist. We still give him some time. Tottenham Hotspur is my team. I can be very patient with any coach, but we want to see. I'm equally waiting to see. Harry Kane was convinced to stay. The likes of Dele Alli was being given time in that midfield. The likes of Skype in that midfield. We want to see what exactly is going to happen, but let us be not so hard on him for now.
Okay, just to wind it up, let me give you a review of the games that were played yesterday. And of course, you did see broadly Ife against, of course, Sparta Braha. It was 0-0, and at the same time, Rangers lost to Lyon by 2-0. Monaco beat, of course, Sturm Graz by 1-0. PSV Eindhoven 2-2 with Real Sociedad, and at the same time, Leicester City played a 2-2 draw with Napoli, and Frankfurt 1-1 with Fenerbahce, and not forgetting Olympic Olympiacos, of course, beating team Rayo and 2-1. Galatasaray beat team Lazio by 1-0. And then, of course, you had Lokomotiv 1-1 with Marseille. And Midtjylland had a 1-1 draw with Ludogorets. Braha lost to team Crvena Zvezda by 2-1. Leverkusen beat Frenkovas by 2-1. And Real Betis beat team Celtic by 4-3. Dynamo Zagreb lost to English team West Ham United by 2-0. And of course, Rapid Vienna lost to Genk by 1-0. And that's how the UEFA Europa League games went on right there. But before we say that, Oscar, let's say our departing words to the viewers right there.
Well, of course, I'm checking whistle time. Karmaini ni nia wapinu ili kenu uruo ani bed kani neno West Nile TV. Kapi koloka kengi nya namba ucheka ni wotu ite screen peri yeni chupa kani koyo ili kero iwa koloka West Nile TV.
Awadfo minangini awadfo ambo mini ama nezo da sapa wol malia sima yumini adi whistle time itagenzi mito mu amavuli chalo suwezi lezi malia di start times malia tuwalu amavu YouTube amvina me stream urande skene adansi yori kitia amabe media amaimu yori kipe dikara iperedusi. I want to say thank you so much. Just keep it right hooked to West Nile TV as the next program comes up next.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.